Hello, my name's Ben,
And my name is Josh.
and welcome back to FPL Graduates, and welcome back to another crazy game week preview. It's all been kicking off in fantasy football terms and in Premier League terms, but we're ready now for another game week where we're potentially seeing how many games is it that we've potentially got this week?
I think five, only five.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one, and it's another crazy week. I've made my transfers already. Josh, I don't know if you've made yours yet, but I've made one, and I'm tempted to take that hit, that -4. So we'll see what happens in this stream. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this game week coming up, Josh?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I think we personally are getting a lot of people asking, should you play a free hit and stuff like that. But it's basically turned out to be a blank game week out of nowhere. So it's really tough to tell. For me personally, I have 8 fielded at the minute. I haven't made any transfers. I don't plan on playing with 11 this week. I just don't want to make a goalkeeper transfer for 3 weeks in a row. That is so boring. So I'll be probably taking another -4, 3 weeks on the trot, and fielding 10 outfield players and not playing with a keeper this week.
Yeah, that's what I've got at the moment. I've got 10 outfield players, no keeper, without taking a hit so far. So I'm kind of tempted just to keep it as it is right now. I think, Josh, you might do the same thing if you're in a similar situation to me and kind of keep it as is. I've even managed to get someone on the bench as well, as you'll see in the future going forwards. Should we just get into what our team looks like for this week? We won't look at last week. It was a bit of a stinker for both of us. I mean, I got a green arrow. Josh maybe didn't. But yeah, currently as things stand, I'm at 74k, I want to say. And Josh, you're at 30k. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I think I did actually post it today. I'm 29,000th, you're 74,000th after last week's game week. It's a terrible week.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, it wasn't too terrible for me, but we'll go into what my team looks like for this week. And I'll kind of go through my thought process, what I've been thinking, and the reasons why I've made the changes that I have. So this is what we're going into for this game week. We're starting off Guaita. He's not going to play this week. I mean, the keeper transfers are getting a bit crazy. There's a reason why I haven't made the decision to transfer him in. Is because or anyone in for keeper is because I don't want to waste a -4 on a keeper transfer. I think this week we could see a lack of potentially clean sheets. I know I'm playing 5 at the back, which is a bit crazy, but there's only 5 games. Like there's only sort of, if you're really thinking about it, 5 keepers that you'd really want to choose from. Because there's going to be goals conceded. So yeah, I'm continuing with that double up in the Chelsea defense. Wolves away. I mean, I don't see Wolves scoring many goals in general this season. So hopefully Chelsea can sort of like pick up their defense again and sort of get the clean sheets going again. A double up Chelsea defensive clean sheet would do me really well in terms of points this week. Yes, that's what I'm hoping for. Again, it was a mistake last game week that meant that they didn't keep the clean sheet. So we're hoping that Rudiger and James play again, which I think they will. Chelsea have got a couple of injury problems and what have you. So yeah, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, who I'm anticipating is going to be around 100% expected ownership again. So it's not going to make much difference what points he gets. Cancelo, it'll be interesting to see what his expected ownership is. I imagine it will still be quite high, but in the lower ranks, if you've got Cancelo still, could be a great player to have in. I know a lot of players in sort of from 1 million to like 100k did get him out through just trying to chase those points and get back in the sort of mix of those really high ranks. I brought in Matty Cash this week as a big risk, but very potentially big reward as well. I decided to go with him over Tomiyasu and Tierney because I've got Rafinha and I'm wanting him to score. I think it puts more fun into the game if I've got sort of Rafinha, Smith Rowe. Go on, lads, just attack and see what happens. Yeah, and Aston Villa, after Chelsea and Man City, have the highest percentage chance of keeping a clean sheet this week. So I've gone with Matty Cash. Yes, he's on 4 yellows, but he also has the second most touches in the box out of any defenders in the past 5 game weeks. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he plays. Salah captain, as per usual. I really do think that he could do quite well against the depleted Tottenham team that we're going to see this week. They've not got too many players. I know Reguilon has just come back into training. So it's good to see that Tottenham players are coming back, but they're by no means going to be full strength this week. Rafinha, again, if Leeds are going to score, it's going to be through him. Leeds have had so many injuries and been decimated. But there's always that off chance that they could sort of produce something. I know how well Arsenal have been playing. They played really well against West Ham, but it's just that off chance. It's that extra player, that extra potential to get a return. So I'm keeping him in. Jota, again, really looking forward to seeing if he plays this week. Firmino's back. So we'll see what happens with that. Smith Rowe, I think he starts this week. I think, who is it? Martinelli. I think he'll get the rest this week. I can't remember the last time he played 5 games in a row, so I think he gets the rest for this one. Smith Rowe comes in, and then Ollie Watkins up top. I mean, what a transfer that was last week. Absolutely loving life with his 12-pointer on the bench. Gelhardt, and that's it. So yeah, we got the 10 players in. We've got the one on the bench just in case there's someone who doesn't play. We've at least got 1 point off the bench. Josh, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's looking good. Considering what's happened, I think you've come out of it fairly unscathed. So it's looking decent. You've got the back 5 is probably as good as you want. The only thing I'd say you're missing is the Arsenal defence, because Ramsdale's expected ownership is literally through the roof. It's like 60%, I think, at my rank, which is it just hurts you. Like when he got that 11-pointer, I think it dropped me about 20,000 rank or something stupid like that. It was crazy. And obviously you're just sort of gaining it back as you go through the game week. So I think if there was anything that I could nitpick, it would probably be just that, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a 50-50 decision, to be honest, between like a Villa defender and an Arsenal defender. Went with the Villa one because I want to attack the game week, and I know there's a high potential for Arsenal to keep a clean sheet, but I also think Villa could do quite well against this Burnley side. So yeah, that's what the team's looking like. Josh, do you want to get your team for this game week?
Yeah, I sure will. It's not looking as good as Ben's right now, that's for sure. So we'll get this up now. There we go. So last week it was decimated. We won't go through it, but it weren't good to look at. On, I think, the second day of the game week, I was on 1 point. So I literally had the Liverpool and Chelsea boys save me. So in goal, like I said earlier, I'm not playing with a keeper this week. I just don't want to take a hit for one. I've got De Gea and Bachmann. The thinking is that by the next game that they both should be available and that the COVID cases have gone away. We'll wait and see, though. I think De Gea should be fine. And also, I think De Gea will be a really nice differential when it does come back. I'm not going to gain too much from a goalkeeper. I'd say the maximum I could probably gain is about 10 points. So I'm not going to lose sleep over that. Trenton, as you said, 100% effective ownership. Like when that goal went in, I was just like, yay. Like it doesn't change anything. Reece James, he also got an assist finally after I think had 1 point in the last 4 game weeks before that game. So good to see him back on those ways. Alonso getting subbed off before they conceded was exactly what I needed. It was a little bit of luck that I just didn't get last week. So I'm really happy with that. Hopefully he does start. I didn't see why he came off. I wasn't really watching that game. So hopefully he'll be available for Wolves away this week. Cancelo, like you mentioned, going to be low owned, I'd hope. Even in the higher ranks, I could see people selling him just to get a bit of cash to fund those moves, spread around the cash to get players playing. Jarrod Bowen, he will be benched this week. Didn't want to sell him, although I was tempted to get Foden in and have Foden and Bernardo, but I think for later on, I'd want Ronaldo because come game week 21, there could be a potential double. And also United's fixtures, when they do come back playing, are really, really good. Salah captain, of course. He's obviously always going to be captain. I've seen a lot of people maybe stray away because of Tottenham away. I think it's just even better fixture for them. Like you said, they might not have their full team fit. They haven't played in like over a week. I think Liverpool will be going at them for that game. Jota, hoping he plays. Even if he doesn't, when he plays like 30 minutes, he still seems to create a lot of problems and get high XG. So he's one of those where you can, if he gets benched, it's not really too much for a problem. hoping Bernardo starts. Obviously, he got subbed off at halftime with that like precautionary injury, but Guardiola said everyone's fit and ready. I don't like De Bruyne playing owning Bernardo Silva because he seems to just take the limelight. So we'll wait and see with him. Obviously, it's not going to be any important transfer right now when I don't have a full 11 playing. Rafinha, as you said, I just don't see Leeds doing anything this week. He's sort of there just to make up the numbers. They just don't have any first team players. He's like the only one left, him and Melier. So yeah, I'd be shocked to see Arsenal concede against Leeds, but it wouldn't also surprise me because it's Arsenal. So anything can happen when it's Arsenal. And then yeah, Keenan Davis, obviously he's injured. My bench consists of postponements. So the thoughts right now, I haven't made my transfers yet, obviously. I'll be probably going Tony because I just don't want Tony as it is. So he's an easy get rid of. I'll get Ollie Watkins in because he's on fire. He played really well against Norwich. They have some good fixtures coming up. And then I'll also get rid of Livramento because Southampton have been poor. Obviously, not got a first choice keeper. And I'll be getting Kieran Tierney, I think, instead of the Villa defender, just to cover myself with that Ramsdale because everyone and their nan's dog has Ramsdale. So, yeah, I've got to try and avoid that at all costs. What's your thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, good. Sensible transfers as well. Like Ollie Watkins coming in as Villa coverage. You probably need that right now because Villa's got a really nice fixture coming up. And yeah, like you've been sensible with the Tierney transfer where I probably should have been, but I haven't because I think Matty Cash is a really good option as well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a safer of the two options going for. But yeah, is that taking a -4 then to bring those guys in?
Yeah, it's another -4. I've taken 2 -4s in the previous weeks. The first week it worked really well. I got like about an 11-point gain out of it. And obviously last week I brought in Backman as part of that -4. He didn't play and then had Bowen. So it effectively was a -2 points in terms of transfers when you include the hit. So they can work, they can not work. But in this sort of stage of the game where there's so many postponements, there's sort of a need because if you like me and you've not got a full 11, maybe you're on 8, 7, 8, 9 players, you're going to have to take hits in order to field an 11 or even a 10 in my case this week.
Yeah, so it's a difficult one. I imagine a lot of squads going to be in sort of similar sort of vein and not looking too strong right now. But obviously, don't worry about it too much because everyone's team is like this right now. Like everyone's going to be hit by it. It's just preparing best you can for the upcoming game weeks, which is been part of my thoughts sort of in my transfer plans. I'm very much aware of that game week 21 where Arsenal play City, Liverpool play Chelsea, is it? I'm very much aware of that, which is why I didn't really want to load up on those Arsenal players too much because I'm aware of that fixture. So yeah, that's sort of my thought process behind it. Should we take a couple of questions whilst we can now?
Yeah, let's go and get into some questions. It'd be interesting to see what everyone else is doing. Obviously, we've mentioned free hits in the title. What's your thought on free hitting? When would you free hit if you had to this week?
Well, I wouldn't free hit
At all.
I'd say you'd probably have to have like 4 or 5 players for me to probably consider it. I think that you could take much more advantage in a game week where there's a double game week or even a triple game week to use that rather than sort of using it now where not like loads of people are in the same boat with like their team. I think having a free hit just in the bag ready to just use for a double game week, it could really, really boost you a lot more than it could using it now. That's just my thoughts. Obviously, we could see this week like a free hit team getting so many points, but I think using it for like a week where you could make double the gains is probably the strategy that I'd want to go for.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think unless you are absolutely mudded in terms of like 3 to 4 to 5 players, I would consider. I would save it if you can. You could probably take a -8, get up to 8 players, and if you're bringing in 8 players that you're going to keep for a significant amount of time, then I don't think it's too much of an issue taking hits because at the end of the day, everyone, like you said, is in the same boat. So
yeah, as well, like if you take a free hit now, you could be left with the exact same problem you had the following game week. Like the game weeks are so short together. Like we
Yeah.
could still see games get postponed and cancelled and that sort of thing. So you could just leave yourself in a worse state after the free hit anyway. So it's worth bearing that in mind as well.
Yeah. Right. Let's smash open some questions now. FPL Penguin is in here. He's saying Oi Laka and ESR in -4 pre-lockdown team. What's your thoughts on Lacazette? Have you considered him this week, or do you think he's a good option?
I think he's one of the best striking options for this week specifically. I think for the long term, I'd kind of be debating it in my head. Yes, we know Aubameyang's out, so Lacazette could be nailed, but like we can see what Arteta's doing. He is going to be phasing out those older players like Aubameyang and Lacazette and bringing in the young blood. I think for this week, because Leeds concede so many chances through the middle of the park, Lacazette's probably going to haul this week. For the long term, I'd be like, not too sure. Like Lacazette hasn't traditionally been like the best FPL asset, but this week, for sure, like if you're looking to attack game weeks, this week's a good week to bring in Lacazette.
Yeah, definitely. We'll take some more questions. Make sure you just chuck them in the comments and we'll get round to you as quick as we can. Glenn's in here. He's asking, do you choose a City midfielder or a City defender for this week?
It's assuming that you've already got Cancelo at this point. I'd probably say a City midfielder. That going forwards, like any one of them players could haul at any given moment. So it's just a case of picking which one you think is going to play and just rolling with it. I don't know what you think, Josh.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose any City player right now, it'd be Phil Foden. His expected goals per 90 is through the roof for a midfielder. He seems to play as well a lot when he is fit. So he would be my number one choice. He's someone that I'm kind of scared going without this game week because he just looks really, really good in that City team right now. Oliver's asking, I've got 7 million. Should I take a hit to get Bowen out for someone who's playing? So I imagine he's probably on like 10 players, is what it sounds like.
If you've got that many players, no. If you've not got many players at all, it's worth consideration. But by the sounds of it and by the look of how much you've got to play with, I'd probably just sit there and wait. Bowen's got good fixtures after this week.
Yeah, that was one of the main thinking because I have Bowen, probably could take him out to get Foden, as I mentioned earlier. But those fixtures for West Ham, when they do come back, they're just looking really, really good. And of course, West Ham don't have COVID. It's just that their team that they're facing do. So they will definitely be back, hopefully. So Shiv asks Watkins and Cash or Mount and Watkins. Who would you prefer? Double Villa or Chelsea and Villa?
I would probably prefer Mount and Watkins, if I'm being honest. Like Mason Mount right now is on absolute fire, absolute flames. Yeah, I'd think I prefer the Mount and Watkins option.
Yeah, I think Mason Mount's going under the radar as that 7.5 million option. I think I saw a stat. He's got 20 goals and assists in like less than 30 games for Chelsea when he started under Tuchel. So he's looking really, really good. He's looking on fire, as you said. Malamir's asking, have we made our transfer? So Ben has, I haven't. I'll just make mine before the deadline. I just wanted to leave it as late as possible because I've been screwed over by that Watford game last week with 2 postponements in my team. Harry asked, I've got 11 playing players, but one of them is Bernardo. So I'm thinking I may need someone on the bench for Livramento. I'm trying to decide from Tierney or Cash, or do I roll the transfer?
At that point, I'd probably roll the transfer. Like you've got 11 playing players. That's more than pretty much everyone has currently. So yeah, I'd keep your transfer and just hold it to next week, and you'll be in a much better position than anyone else next week.
Yeah, taking no hits this week is going to be a massive, massive boost because I think in the last 2 weeks, the average right away has been about -2, -2.5. So yeah, it'll definitely help you out. Laka to Vardy and Martinez Cash to Steele Williams -4. I feel like he means like the other way around with those transfers.
Vardy to Laka. I'm trying to work it out in my head, and it's
so he's bringing in Lacazette and either Martinez or Cash for Vardy, Steele, or Williams. That's way.
Yes.
I would agree because all the other players don't play.
Yeah.
8.7 million for a midfielder. Already got Foden and Jota. Do I go Gundogan?
I probably wouldn't, because that would probably result in you tripling up. I wouldn't triple up on any team right now apart from Liverpool, just for the risks that's involved with postponements and that sort of thing.
Yeah. In terms of another midfielder though, who would you recommend? Because it's tough. I like picking from these teams.
I'd probably save money in midfield. I think the other options, Mason Mount is a good option, like we just talked about. Smith Rowe. There's a couple of good ones that are just that little bit cheaper, so it might be worth saving the money in midfield.
Yeah. This guy asked cash or target. It's interesting. Cash a little bit more expensive than target. You've obviously gone cash, and he's next booking, and he's suspended. What was your thoughts on doing that transfer?
If he gets booked this week, I was going to bench him next week anyway. So It's like this. It's an easy one to make, and then obviously, I think the Chelsea game is probably the one that he's most likely to get booked in. So it's obviously the chance that he misses just the one game. I'm more than happy to take the risk because his underlying numbers are so good. I think targets underlyings are really good as well. Like, there wasn't too much to split between cash or target. So for people, like, I had the money to spend anyway. Like, it wasn't a concern for me, so I went the more premium option. But I think target's good value. So yeah, I think target's probably the more sensible option. I've not gone for the sensible option in that case. But yeah.
Awesome. Right. Malamir asked, why have you made early transfers this week?
I made it about 20 minutes before coming on, so it's not too early. But it's early for me, to be fair. It's early for me, to be fair.
Shiv asked, cash or Tierney. He's got Ramsdale already. I think if you've got Ramsdale, I'd go Villa defender.
For sure.
Smith Rowe in for Gallagher, no hit for 10 players, no keeper. Sounds good to me. I don't know if you'd pick anyone else at that price range, to be fair, instead of Smith Rowe.
Yeah, that's perfect transfer to make, really.
I do like Saka, to be fair. If you've got the money for him, he seems so dangerous. Not really getting FPL returns just yet, but he's like anything that happens for Arsenal, it just goes through him. He looks so good against West Ham the other day. If we pick maybe one more question, and then we'll call it a day. What's it? An hour basically until the deadline now, so you should be locked and loaded. There's not really that many decisions to make going forward. Vinicius asked Watkins and Ramsdale or Watkins in cash / Tierney for a -4.
I'm gonna say Watkins and cash / Tierney. I don't think taking a hit for a keeper's worth it.
Cool. So there we have it. That wraps up our game week 18 preview, doesn't it?
Yeah, another deadline coming up. Guys, make sure you do not miss the deadline. It's been moved, hasn't it? What time's the deadline? It is half one today. Yeah. So make sure you don't miss that deadline. And yeah, as usual, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And we'll see you guys